Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
Welcome to the Rock Interview. We're catching up with Grammy Award-winning country music singer, songwriter, producer, actress, Pam Tillis. Thanks for coming on the show, Pam.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
You know what? You look great as always. And I always think about you when I drive into town and I see the billboard with your dad, Mel, up on it. And it's like, and it always reminds me of you.
Thank you. I want to start a petition in Nashville to never take that billboard down.
I just love it every time I drive by.
It makes me so happy. I wave at Daddy.
Well, you know, it's so amazing. You know, and obviously, you know, your father, country music royalty, but you've cut such a huge path yourself, including with your brand new album out now, Looking for a Feeling. I was telling you before we started the show, you know, I've been listening to this album a lot since I got it in. And my favorite cuts on here are probably Dolly 1969, Last Summer's Wine. But I mean, just there's, like you said, there's something for everybody in this album.
It's eclectic, fairly eclectic, but kind of a rootsy, there's a rootsy country sensibility throughout most of it. But it has a little bit of some soul influence. It's got some folk influence. It's got some, oh gosh, it was very much inspired by the music that was popular when I was in high school, you know, late 70s. You do the math. Classic rock was really big when I was, the Allman Brothers, Led Zeppelin, Neil Young it was a real mix. And then there was country like Emmylou Harris and Don Williams and Dolly Parton. And it was such a mix growing up in Nashville. And I like to think that the album reflects some of that sensibility.
Well, you know, and a lot of people may not realize this too, Pam, that how steeped in history you are, and obviously an Opry member, but your first time on the Opry was when you were 8 years old and, singing the hit song Tom Dooley, right?
Oh, Tom Dooley was on the Porter Wagner show.
Okay.
Right. And that was another moment of getting to step into the limelight at the ripe old age of 7, right? And then when I was 8 years old, Daddy pulled a bunch of kids on stage at the old Ryman. And so, but on that night we sang, it was a Curtis Mayfield song called, remember that song, Amen.
Oh, yeah.
Amen. Yeah, Daddy used to do that in a show, and he pulled the little kids up, and during the course of all the little kids singing, he kind of passed the microphone down to me. And I've told the story many times. I'll try to keep it brief, but, you know, it was like, you know, Daddy was 6'4", you know, and so I saw the microphone coming down to me in slow motion. It's like time, you know what, I really remember it that way. It's almost like time standing still. Right. In fact, I'll get a little lump in my throat. And the microphone coming down to me and him handing it to me. And I really think of that as almost a symbolic moment in my life. You know?
I think it is,
I was nervous.
And with your dad, you know, it's like, I always, admired him just like I admire you, you know, but it's like for his sense of humor and then just a great entertainer and vocalist. And he was always so humble with anybody he performed on stage with, just like you. I mean, you've got, you've got, multiple things besides your solo career and, and producing your own albums, having your own record label. And then you do tours, Chicks with Hits. And then you do your thing with Lori Morgan.
Yeah, mixing it up.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. But, I think that is a part of a career. I think the longer you're in the business, the more you tend to kind of diversify and try different things, mix it up, keep it fresh, and that's important. So it's been an interesting ride.
I thought it was great seeing you also on TV, and stuff. Whenever you're doing things on television and everything, it's just you're always bigger than life to me. And knowing that you're local here in Nashville, I think you represent us well.
Oh, that's a very nice compliment. Yeah, my last thing that I was really involved, a little bit. I kind of was woven in and out of the TV show Nashville, and they wanted some of there were a lot of fictional artists, but
Right.
then they wanted to mix in real artists to make it more real, and that was fun. So I just was playing myself.
Yeah, but it was great seeing you on.
Somebody had to do it, right? They couldn't find anybody with this accent, so they.
I see that. But I guess I've been here in Nashville so long, I don't even notice your accent. But I got to bring this up too. In your spare time, besides writing hit songs, producing, putting out a brand new album, being on TV. Also, you still try and garden some when you have the chance. I know there is a Pam Tillis Rose.
Yeah, there's a Pam Tillis Rose, and there's a Pam Tillis Daylily, which is pretty cool. And the Daylily, actually, they're going to rework the Rose. They want to make it, it's kind of a mini, and they want to bump it up. But the Daylily is really beautiful. It's got a lot of purple and lavender in it. It's different. It's really gorgeous. But the last few years have really not been a great gardening time for me. And then when the pandemic hit, it's like all of a sudden I needed that time in nature, and then that activity really, it kind of kept my mind off of things a little bit, and it was really therapeutic for me. And so I was able to grow a little kitchen garden, and I've been putting in flowers, and it's been really good for me. I encourage everybody, if they've got any dirt in their yard and it's a sunny spot, this is where I get on my little soapbox. I think we need to return back to the old, the era of victory gardens. And I think that as bad as the pandemic and everything has really as on top of the toll that it's taken, there's some valuable lessons that I feel like, I'm not just saying this, I think a lot of my friends have said, I feel like we're learning some lessons and we're refocusing on the things that really matter and getting back to basics. And that's been good. So I really think that having a little victory garden like our grandmothers and grandparents used to do is a kind of a good thing.
I think that's a great idea. And I was kidding you before we started the interview too, because, there for a while, everybody I had on the show was having a songwriting session with you. And so do you find that now, Pam, that you're doing a lot of these via the computer instead of people coming to your house or meeting for coffee? Or are you doing these through Zoom and Skype and everything? Or how are you doing this?
I haven't yet, but I'm about to. I took what have we been off the road in about 6 weeks? And so the first month I was really working on promoting the album. So we're doing a lot of online streaming and everything. So it's not quite time yet to get back into the writing thing, but it's coming. It's definitely coming.
Well, I'll tell you what, very excited to see what you'll be doing, with the multiple acts that you play with. Like we talked about, Chicks with Hits, and also what you do with Lori Morgan, which I think the stuff you do with Lori is so much fun. Seeing the videos from those performances and the stills, and you and Lori play off each other so well. Well,
thank you. Lori and I, that's a unique partnership. We grew up in this town. We call ourselves Opry brats. And so we just have these really, our roots in common. And she can name the most obscure old country song or a country artist, and we'll both know who that is. Or like, man, that's deep. That's going deep catalog. So yeah, that's been really great. And then the situation with Susie Boggess and Terry Clark, that's really a different vibe. Just as much fun, but Susie brings her Midwest sensibility. And Terry's coming from, up in, Canadian artist,
right.
and also, had a great career here. And so that's a little different feel because that show, it's a little more the differences and then how we all come together. And then with that, like I said, we have a lot of 3-part harmony. I will just say this about my tours over the last few years with the ladies, for many, many years. And it's still kind of like this, there'll be like say you're playing a big music festival, there'll be a boatload of guys. And then it seems like there's only maybe you know, like one chick, one female, or a couple. You know what I mean? It's almost like sometimes you feel like the girls are kind of like, oh, well, we better have some females on the bill. Not really, but you know what I mean? There's a little bit of a thing. I mean, right now, especially in country music, radio's tilted a little bit more masculine, and it'll swing back. It always swings. But my point is that for many, many years, always just working with all the male artists. And so the last few years, it's been so much fun to be packaged on these female tours. And I say it's like a rolling slumber party. And it's just been an opportunity for me to get to know some other women. Like Lori, you know, she grew up here, I grew up here. We did not know each other.
Wow.
We didn't know each other. We just real superficially.
Right.
And so my only regret is that out of all the women that I've named that I've been working with, is that I had gotten a chance to be friends with them years ago, because we just enjoyed each other's company so much. And especially right now that, well, there's two things, as radio has gotten kind of tougher for women and the climate's kind of changed with that, but also as women who've had long careers, you know, we're getting, we don't say older, we say more mature.
Yeah.
Just the support that we've gotten from each other, it's been so good, you know.
Well, you know, and also, I mean, you know, with all of the artists, you know, that you were performing with the ladies, you know, you all have your own great body of work, just like yourself with all your hits. I remember, you know, when your hits would come on, you know, your videos and everything, and it's just, you know, it's and your lyricism, you know, the way you have always written lyrics is just so deep to where I think you can find a message. It's more than just the top layer, Pam. And I think that particularly with your music and songs, and I totally agree with you. I think that, you know, it's certainly time for, you know, I think radio and everyone. And I know myself, I mean, you know, I love listening to the female singers and the female song crafting as much or more than the male. And I think that, like you said, it shifts. And I think hopefully it's shifting back in the right way, because, when you're on a bill and there's so many guys and so few women, I think that I think it should be equal or more towards the women.
I'm with you. No, that's good.
Well, I want to make sure that our viewers for the Rockin' Review, Pam, know where to go to your website and to your social media and everything else to keep up with you. And also, if they want to get an autographed copy of the new album, you know, where should they go?
You can, a bunch of places.
Okay.
Of course, I'm on Instagram. I love Instagram. And I'm on Facebook, of course, Pam Tillis official music page. If they need to message me or ask for this, like you said, the CDs, info at pamtillis.com is a great way. And that's the long and short of it. Every now and then I tweet something, but mostly but we're finding out about new platforms every day. It's really incredible. So it's a whole new world.
You have to get into TikTok next.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm on there. I've been singing some duets with people, and they can come on there and sing with me, and that's fantastic. And often hilarious. But, so I have enjoyed that aspect. I haven't gotten into doing the Tootsie slide yet or any of that.
Oh my gosh, I saw that. I saw my daughter. Yeah. We're gonna have to work on that. You know, it's like it's but like you said, so many platforms, and I'm so thrilled. You know,
many platforms, so little time.
Yeah, exactly. Looking for a Feeling, incredible album for our viewers. You know, however you take in the music, whether you download the singles on your playlist, I suggest the whole album because there's so many incredible songs on here. And like I told you, Pam, I love the photography that you have. Also, it's just you look so cool.
Oh well, geez, my husband Matt. He sees me in a good light. He's a great photographer. He did that artwork, and so he does good.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's awesome. Congratulations on the brand new album, Pam Tillis, and thank you for coming on the Rockin' Review.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.